Hey everybody, welcome back to Six-Sided Legion. Brett here. We just finished ATC in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am here with the winner, Liam Garrett, and the TO who made it all happen, Leander Garrett. I just wanted to talk with some of these guys and a couple others who will be joining me shortly. We're going to talk a little bit about the tournament, how it went down, and how Liam managed to pull this ticket out and secure his spot for the championship. That one, yes.
Yeah.
So Liam, what did you take? How did it go?
So I started out a month ago thinking I was going to take cults. I was playing against my brother somewhat often, but cults were not just doing it for me. They were not fun for me. So a few weeks ago, I decided to take commandos because they're my favorite team in the game to play. And I've taken them to this tournament today, and I won it and got in the golden ticket. So I went 4-0, and commandos, they're super fun to play. They're really good. They're not overpowered, but they're very, very good.
Very good.
And they're not too hard to play.
I mean, for a team that's been around since the very first box, they hold up. Like, especially with it's not so recent buff, right? It's been around, I think, for a while now.
Yeah, so where you can switch out a boy for the Grot and Bomb Swig. I took that all 4 games today.
Very good. It's very good. You played immaculately. We played game 3. Well, at the time, we were both... I think it was... Do you want me to pull? I think it was like, I don't know, there was a multiple point gap though. Leone definitely took the win. Oh, 21-14.
Yeah.
21-14. So I got schooled. It was a very good game. I definitely learned some things. It went very well. We had a very good time. So Leander, you pretty much made this whole thing happen. We had a whole fiasco a few weeks ago, and this almost didn't happen. You want to talk about that a little bit and explain how you ended up being the TO for this?
Yeah, so my family really wanted to come out here because this would be my mom's first, I guess, big tournament.
Yeah.
And then, my brother was aiming high. And then we saw that there was no TO for this event, so I stepped up.
Did.
Yeah.
And I have to say he ran it quite well.
He did. I would have to say, I thought the maps were fantastic. It was Octarius, of course. It's great for tournaments, I think. I think most people think so.
Yeah.
And the boards were very well set up, in my opinion, my very professional opinion. And there was not a single board that I played on where it was like, oh, that side, absolutely. It was tough enough to decide. Exactly. But I think I got defender like 3 times. So I actually had like a worthy decision to make.
So Leander, do you want to talk about like your criteria for what makes a good 4?
Yeah, well, so attacker defender, like you said, it needs to be an actual choice.
Yeah.
So at the start of every game I played against Liam, when we were designing these boards, I would ask him if he won the roll-off, what would he pick and why? And then after we tweaked it, I would ask him the same. I would ask him the same thing. So
these boards are set up with the intent that when you win the roll-off, you do not go auto attacker or auto defender, because then the person who loses the roll-off has too big of a disadvantage. And I think we had a few more criteria, right?
yeah, and so going into this tournament, I was worried about cults and goats just sweeping the podium. And so we took inspiration from Ben, a big TO on the East Coast boards.
TO Adepticon.
And so we had 2 objectives behind heavy terrain, 2 behind light terrain, and then 2 objectives out in the open. So that was meant to give shooty teams a real chance against these broken melee teams.
Yep. And I'm looking here right now. So we do not have any Chaos Cults in the top 3. And what does that say to you, Brett, Leander?
Well, that, considering that how strong Chaos Cults are, that says to me that maybe I made the boards a bit too shooty.
Perhaps. I don't. Also, though, we have to consider for a tournament, this was a small tournament, but it was very competitive.
Yep.
We had 2 Chaos Cult, Felgor. We had also just some very well-known. I mean, we had your whole family. You guys are known to be very good players. I think a lot of people know you guys. They know you're very well. You've clearly proved it.
Thank you.
You already have a golden ticket. So this is 2 golden ticket winners right here.
Yep.
So consider that for a small tournament, very competitive. It was tough. I mean, every game was tough. Like I had 2 games that were 1 point difference.
Yeah.
So it was
I have to say, there was very tough competition for me. I played the 4 people at this tournament who I did not want to play at all. So my first game, I came up against George. He's I think he's somewhere on the East Coast. I'm not sure where. Strong, which knows very good
when the game down.
He has system mastery. He took exaction, so I beat him, and then I did not want to play him at all because he's a very good player. Then after that, I think I came up against Joe. Joe is also a very good player. Came up against his Inquisition. That was a good game. Then after that, I came up against Brett. I have to be honest, Brett, I was the most worried about Brett at this tournament.
But you and I had a previous match. We played at Kansas City.
At Kansas City Open.
And that was a 1-point difference.
I lost by 1. I was taking Beastman versus his Hand of the Archon. Yeah. He stuck with Hand of the Archon. I'm taking Commandos now.
The team you are far more comfortable with than least considered.
Because
I knew it was gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, they were my first team I ever took to a tournament. And then last game of the day, of course, it had to be against Chaos Cult's Chris. He's a very good player. Beat him, I think, 13-4. We didn't get to finish the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, because
I mustered up the courage to beat him because I decided at this tournament, when there are 2 Chaos Cultists out of 10 people, we cannot let Chaos Cultists win.
You're first. That's how it works here. That's hot take, yeah.
I would argue that the circumstances for Chris were he was at quite a disadvantage. So the mission was secure, where it's a mission action to claim it. Cults are not good at mission actions. And so because your game against him ended, what was it, at the end of turn 2?
The end of turn 2, yeah.
At the end of turn 2, cults, even the best cults player, had no chance against Commandos, because any non-cults team could just go out hard and auto-win because they ran out of time.
Although at the end of turn 2, he had 7 guys left alive, whereas I had 9. So more than half of his army was dead. Yeah, whereas I had 2 guys left, and I don't think...
Which is how you want to play against.
Which is how you want to play against cults. You want to kill people early on so that he can't make enough mutants and torments later on in the game. So had we finished the game, I don't think...
I mean, had you had enough time to finish the game, and if he had known that, most likely he wouldn't have just thrown bodies at you like he did. So
I got most of my kills from a deep strike. So I did sneaky get on both my leader and my breacher boy, put dynamite on my leader and stick bombs on my breacher boy. So I forward deployed both of them, and breacher boy, I think he was able to hit 4 or 5, maybe 5 guys with his blast, and then Rocket Boy was also able to shoot 1 person. And my leader was able to charge and fight one of his Blessed Blades, kill him. So he charged 2 Blessed Blades, killed one of the Blessed Blades in combat, and then at the end of the turn, I did crump him to kill the other Blessed Blade.
I saw that from the TO perspective. Yeah. That was a beautiful play.
Thank you.
That was really nice.
Yeah. And then I set on my leader because he also had dynamite. He wasn't able to get dynamite off turn 1 or even at all, but I set him up with the intention because Chris went first turn 1. So I charged and killed both the Blessed Blades with hopes that I would break ties and I would be able to throw dynamite into 4 of his men.
There was a 60% chance.
60, yeah. So 60%, 66% chance I went first, and I could have gotten 4 of his men. So I think it was a worthy trade. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here. That is how you beat Cult with Commandos. So new meta, everybody Commandos.
No.
Yeah. I mean, especially on mixed tournaments like Nova will be.
I would rate Commandos.
Cults and Beastmen are still the best in the game. However, Commandos do definitely have play into them. All right?
I'm free.
Well, yes, thank you guys for being on. Really appreciate it. Again, congratulations. Thank you for hosting the whole thing. We really appreciate that.
Blowing my hand.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
You guys have anything else you want to throw out there?
I want to say, don't take a team that you don't think is fun. I was going to take Cults to this tournament. I don't think I would have won it if I had taken Cults. I didn't think Cults were fun. Take a team that you enjoy.
Add on to what Liam was saying, I took Breachers to KTO just to be sweaty, and I went 2-2, and then that was the first time I'd gone 2-2 in a long time. And then I took the next tournament I went to, Adepticon. I took the team I liked the most, Star Striders, and I went 7-1, and I won the tournament. So
Bring what you enjoy.
yeah, really.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We had to move because we got kicked out of the convention hall for chatting too long and having too much fun. So we're back in our hotel room. I am now joined by Joe Gallo, who took second place with his Felgar Ravagers, and Joe Bell, who played Inquisition.
Yeah, it wasn't my best tournament, we'll say that.
But how did it go, guys? How did the whole thing go? It was a small tournament.
Yeah,
10 people. 10 people?
it was a murderer's row. Like,
Good.
absolutely top to bottom.
Yeah.
Some of the most competitive,
Just fun.
No, it was really
very
fun. Like, I don't mean
fun.
to,
Yeah.
it was just, I don't think that there was a single person I saw, like, on the roster there, like, whenever we were looking at the BCP listing, I'm like, I feel comfortable about this game. Yeah.
Like, it's always like that. There's that one guy, especially now that we're in Colts meta, where it's like, although something funny did happen. I don't know if you guys noticed. I forget who it was, and now that I'm reflecting on it, if it was the person I think it is, it's even funnier. My buddy Scott, who I came with and Strom plays Killteam George. Scott was constantly checking BCP because he was just like trying to check. Someone had Tomb World on there, Necron.
I saw that.
For the longest time,
yeah,
and then changed Colts,
Changed to Colts, yes.
at the last minute.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. Okay, 2 days ago, I'm going over them. Like, okay, when I said that initially, I'm like, there's no Colts. I think you were the only person on there that had Felgor.
Correct, yeah.
And I looked over, it's like, okay, Novitiates, I think I can handle. And then Tomb World, I'm like, all right, this guy's just here to have fun. Great on him.
And we were that was
For
what you were
sure.
saying on the car right over here. It was like, this guy's gonna have fun. I think it was 7:59 or like something really
Yes,
close like
just
that.
last.
That flipped to coldest, and like I said, I think it was the person I think is, which makes it so much funnier.
Yes.
You actually, Joe, my buddy Scott, he's super like lawyer, whatever, and I think there was a hard cutoff in the packet at 8 p.m. And then he was like, I am going to send a message to Leander if this guy does not have his roster in, because the roster matters, because he was playing War Coven, and he was super concerned because he was like, oh, if he takes Sword Sisters,
I see.
Yeah.
You know, I was chatting with somebody about that because I was like, man, it has been so long since I played in a Warp Coven, and I haven't played into them post buff. Right?
It's a buff.
It's kind of
It's a
witchy.
buff, yeah.
And so I was like, but to try, like, I'm already having trouble fitting in the stuff that I need to take.
1,000%.
So to tech into Warp Coven, like, I think that maybe there's a discussion been had, and if somebody plays aggressive Felgor, like they go all out, they don't like that, there might be some play with sisters, but I think are suboptimal. There's like 2 things that it's great into.
Inquisition in general has a lot of weird rulings, and I was thinking of going into you too, because I wasn't sure if I was going to go into Inquisition. In going into that third round, I was convinced it was going to go into you, but I ended up getting not pared down, but
I would
ended
have
up-
rather taken that, honestly. No, not a shot. I just didn't want to play into Cultists.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we had 2 Colt players in this tournament. And I will say this about if you are playing Colts and if someone has not played, if someone goes, I have never played Colts before, I think it behooves you as the Colt player to take time aside and explain 90% of what your stuff does. Because one, every model has something insane about it. The way the abilities work and the way there's so many gotchas with that team, right?
Yes.
The stupidest one being, oh, it's a mutant that I mutate into a 40mm base and put myself into engagement range.
Yes.
Which a player in my local meta literally refused to do that because it was so cheesy. He literally refuses to do it.
Yeah, good for him.
Because I don't even think I personally don't think that was as intended either. And that's the thing, is I think there's a lot of things about Colt that I don't think were intended. And there's the whole rumor about like, oh, they test teams against each other. And I remember in the run up to this team coming out, they were like,
that's true. I don't know how that's true because
I don't know.
I have not figured out a way to play into that at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If everyone remembers, they said pretty clearly, Inquisition has a disadvantage in the narrative.
Oh, yeah, they did.
From the
That's
beginning.
right.
So they knew that how outpaced they were. And you know, as the Felgor player, so I played into Colts into capture, which is not good. Normally, capture is great for Felgors. However, playing into Colts, they just throw bodies at the problem as they typically do.
Yes.
The player I played into against was very aggressive, and I punished him every time I got aggressive. So basically, he put his. Don't even get me started on the icon bearer guy.
Oh.
He is the most
Everybody
overtuned
knows, right?
model in the game.
In the game.
Overtuned is,
It
like, I know
has to be.
overtuned isn't even the right word for that. That is clearly broken.
It's
Like, that model is just so
I
good.
genuinely do not know how anybody who knows anything about Killteam looked at that model and went, "That's fine." I mean, I'll get into it a little more, but like, so he charged, scrambled over, and got a flamer on two of my guys. Put my leader in frenzy. Put my shaman in frenzy. Whatever. That was a mess up on my part. Once again, it's torrent 3.
Exactly.
It's torrent 3. So I messed that up, and that was the biggest mistake I made. However, that he got cocky and threw mutants over to deal with my guys because what he kept doing was, I'm gonna just try to crit that guy in melee, which is not the thing to do because you need to be spending the time playing the game and getting the points and controlling things, and that's what basically made it a 1-point game.
It's called Killteam. So.
Yes, and I punished him with the Mangler because people always forget the Mangler fights twice.
Oh,
And,
right. Do you think the Inquisition needs to be changed? I'm legitimately
So I think the big thing with them is the deny needs to be once per battle. It absolutely.
Interesting.
I can agree with
The
that.
deny needs to be once
How
per
would
battle.
you feel about it if it was if you were only able to use it against each ploy once?
Each ploy once.
There are some teams I do know, I understand.
Yeah.
That but as a Pathfinder player, right?
That
against worthy cause, being able to deny that is.
I still
However,
think denying any ploy at a specific time, it prevents it. For example, we had Liam who won with Commandos today, right? Being able to deny it just a scratch
Yes.
is so strong
Yes.
because and the fact that he has to think about it every time and be like, well, now I need to risk. I mean, it's nice that you get it refunded. If it had been like you don't get it refunded,
man.
that would be insane.
I'm
Insane.
and I'm not saying that I personally have wondered, like, if you see there's some, like, the Geller pods and there's some other stuff that, like, on repeated use of a ploy, it goes up a CP cost. I've wondered about that. Because, like,
CP plus
that-
1. Yeah.
That's essentially what I did too.
Exactly. Suddenly,
Yeah.
because Inquisition, okay, another model you don't take with Inquisition is the Auto Savant. I don't.
Really?
You did.
Some people really like that.
How?
Okay, so I'll explain. I played Inquisition. I think against teams that are super heavy into their ploys, so if you're only ever denying one ploy a turn, right? So for example, there are teams that kind of rely on 2 ploys, or so like In Death Atonement's a great example for Vet Guardsman, right? They're using that every single turning point. I don't care what happening to a Vet Guard player is using it every single turning point. That's 4 CP. But thank you for having me here, guys. This was
Hey, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, dude,
I'm glad we got a game in.
we did.
We both did very well.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I did not play you. That you played each other.
Well,
Okay.
apparently.
Once again, you said you were trying
Listen.
stuff.
Yeah.
Inquisition is very hard. Some of those boards were not the best for Inquisition. Let's be
I
honest.
gave you a chance to walk away after I took out your Tome Skull. I killed his Tome Skull with my
First
bird.
friggin' active. That is your.
Hey, did you
MVP.
kill it with
That's
the
kinda
one?
something.
Maybe it should.
Did you kill it with the 1-2?
Yeah, they got
One,
birded.
Oh
I
my
got a
God.
crit in 3 hits.
The bird is
Okay.
also probably the funniest thing you could do with your
It's,
game.
look,
It's
you're-
very funny.
Inquisition is already being taxed with an interrogator and a tome skull.
Yeah.
Like, they are.
Just have
So-
it in on 2s and 3s. For the love of God. Yin and yang.
All right. All things considered, though, we talked about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff
Yeah.
Got off
we
topic.
complained about, but
we complained about Colts polls.
Grumble
but
We kicked them out of the top 3.
Consider
We kicked them out of top 3.
we did both of that, but you guys had a great time, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was my first 2 games in my last game were some of the most fun I've had playing Killteam. Because playing Mark is just fun. Mark's such a great player.
I'm saying it now. I'm coining it the Garrett dynasty.
Garrett
dynasty.
Don't even get shit. Oh my god.
And
Mark would have won that game into Colts had that gone all the way.
Oh man.
Which is very impressive. Phobos into Colts.
He's done it before, so he can definitely do it again.
Glad I came. 6.5 hours was a long drive, and we have a long drive back home. But I'm glad to take home second place to Atomic Empire. Which, by the way, if you're in North Carolina and have any vague inclinings of playing Killteam, there's a massive community in North Carolina and Raleigh-Durham in particular. Please come; it'd be great. And also, we'll be putting on more tournaments. George will be, and maybe if we somehow be able to swing a golden ticket, you guys might come. Who knows? And actually see where we play Killteam every week, and that'd be great. Sweet. Yeah.
You know what? Let me, on a similar note, call out the Gateway Open, which I am hosting on August 19th and 20th of 2023, whatever year you're watching this, internet. But we are unfortunately not a golden ticket event this year, but if enough of you come out, we will hopefully be able to snag one of those next year. So right now we're a 32-player cap, and last I checked, I think we're at 20 people.
Which is amazing.
Right, and it's like we really are trying, like looking at the coastal metas that, you know, West Coast, East Coast, we really would like to start trying to see some bigger events pop up in the Midwest so that, you know, people have a reason to come out here and play Killteam.
Yes.
Definitely.
I say out here.
And I will say one more thing before we go. Congratulations to Liam. The absolute Omega Chad. I love him to death. I'm so glad he won. I was rooting for him all the way, and I legitimately hope he somehow pulls a whole one at Nova. I would love to just hoist him on my shoulders and just run him around the convention center.
I hope
especially if he takes commandos again.
Oh my god.
Oh man, right?
Because Orc's the best.
I hope that all the Garrett clan is able to get a golden ticket.
If any of them win any major events, I'm happy because they're such good people and so great for the community, and just Liam just absolutely. Did you go into Colts twice?
Mark did.
Mark went into Colts. Mark went into Colts twice. Yeah,
He had a rough
Big shout out to
Yes,
Leander
he had a
for
rough
tournament.
Yes, but Leander ran the tournament great. He was a great TO. I wish we would have had more people, but it's fine. I mean,
guys, if you think about going to these events, go for it. I mean, they're
If you
a
have
ton
the
of fun. If you got time, you know, bring something you enjoy. You have fun. You're gonna learn a lot.
Yep.
Don't expect to, win. Don't go necessarily for that mind. If you want to, absolutely shoot for it. Absolutely. But go learn some stuff. Support the community. I've met so many awesome people. I've met these two.
Yeah.
And look at, I'm surrounded by Joes. Good Joes.
Yeah, good Joes. However, if you play
Joe
Colts,
Square.
if you play Colts, we are gonna shove you in the bathroom and beat you.
Yeah. I hope this video ages poorly, and we look at this and we're like, Colts, they got nerfed into the ground.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you guys like Colts and Felgor, there's gonna be a battle report with them on the channel real soon. Otherwise, let us know your thoughts about any of this stuff in the comments. Otherwise, do all the normal stuff. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next one, whenever that might be. Should be a good amount of content coming out soon. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.